Do you want to add drop caps to your layout? They can provide a nice, appealing design element, but how you actually create the drop caps can be critical to your success. Drop caps can be a nice feature to add a bit of special treatment to your text. Typically, a drop cap consists of a single character at the beginning of a paragraph. Some people, though, want to have two characters drop capped, especially if the character that begins the sentence is a quote mark. If you want to have two characters be in your drop cap, there are two ways that you can approach the task. It's important, though, to understand that the drop cap capability of Word can be, well, a bit quirky. In order to show you what I mean, I'm going to start by making sure that the Show Hide tool is turned on so you can see the non-printing characters within the document. That'll come in handy as we work with this drop cap capability. Next, I'm going to go ahead and delete that quote mark at the beginning of the paragraph. Now I'm going to insert the drop cap in the normal way by displaying the Insert tab of the ribbon, and then I'm going to choose the drop cap tool that's over here in the text group. Now I could choose any of these options really if I wanted to, but I'm going to choose the typical one that I do, which is the dropped version of the drop cap. Notice that Word converted the first character of the paragraph into a drop cap. Note something else important here though. Word creates the drop cap by inserting a box at the beginning of the paragraph and inserting into it the first character at an enlarged font size. This box isn't really a text box, as it doesn't fully behave like one, but you can see that it is, nonetheless, a box that contains that first character. This leads to the first way to have two characters be drop capped. Once the drop cap is created, you can place the insertion point within the box. Right now it's immediately after the letter V, but I'm going to press the backspace key and you can see that the insertion point is clicking there, or is blinking there right before the letter V. At this point, I can type the quote and Word automatically adds that to the box and increases the size of the box. You can even format the added quote mark if you find it too big or not looking just right. Well, remember that I said that the drop cap capability of Word can be a bit quirky? Well, this is where I get to demonstrate that quirkiness by selecting the first two characters of this paragraph right down here. Notice that I've selected the two of them, and now I'm going to go ahead and insert the drop cap just like I did a moment ago. I do this, I select it, and son of a gun. What Word did was it created both characters in that drop cap. The only difference between the two approaches that I used here is that in the second approach, I made the selection before inserting the drop cap. I could have selected more than two characters if desired. For instance, I could have selected 3 or 4 or the entire first word. Honestly, that's pretty cool, right? Well, here's the quirky part. If the first character of your selection is a punctuation mark, such as a quote mark, then Word ignores what you selected and behaves as if you only selected the quote mark, converting just that one character into a drop cap. In other words, you won't get satisfactory or expected results. You can see how that works if I go right down here and I select the quote mark and the W together. And now if I go up to the drop cap tool, watch what happens to those when I hover over this. It only allows the quote mark. It ignores the fact that I selected two characters in there. Now I'm not going to click on this. I'm going to go back to this and I'm going to get rid of that quote mark in there. But now I'm going to select that entire word. And if I go up here to the drop cap tool and hover over this, you can see that it will do the entire word just fine. It only gets quirky and weird when you have a punctuation mark as the first character within the text that you want to drop cap. In fact, if you play around with this, you'll find that if there's a punctuation mark or a space that exists anywhere within the selection, then all bets are off as to what is actually converted to a drop cap. So there you have two ways that you can make two or more characters be drop-capped within your document. Personally, I prefer the first method simply because of the potential quirky gotcha within the second method. I hope that you found this quick tip helpful. If you did, you might consider signing up for my Word Tips newsletter. Every weekly issue is free, and it includes great tips that you can put to work right away. Information is in the notes just below this video. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today.